Hi. We've been doing a ketogenic diet for 2 years, so we have some tips to help you get started. So we've come up with 7 top tips to get started with the ketogenic diet.
Yeah, so we'll start with number 1. Clear out your pantry and fridge. So when we started 2 years ago, we went through our pantry and our fridge, read all the nutrition labels, anything that had sugar or was high in carbs, like, you know, bread, pasta, rice, soft drinks, all those type of things, we binned them. Actually, I think we gave some away.
We gave a lot away, yeah.
Yeah, we gave some away to family and friends, and we binned some of it. But it was so much easier not having all that stuff in the house, because you knew that anything that you could eat, like anything in your fridge or your pantry, you could eat it. So it takes away a lot of decision making. I know not everybody can do this, particularly if you live with other people or your family.
What would you suggest that you do if you've got family members that are still carb eaters? Yeah,
maybe if there's you could have a spot where you keep your specific stuff
or their specific
stuff. Their stuff is like in a cupboard where you don't have to go to, or even if it's just stuff that you might be tempted by, I guess. So like chips and chocolates or anything like that, I would be like very aware it was in my pantry. If it was in a cupboard that I'd never had to go to, that would probably make it easier. What do you think?
I've heard someone say that when their daughter was a carb eater, they made her keep it in her bedroom.
That might not be sanitary.
Might not be perfect, but just so that it wasn't in their kind of grasp all the time.
Yeah.
That was
and particularly I think with stuff you can just pick up and eat. I mean, I guess pasta and rice, you're not going to, like, you know, boil water, like that's a lot of effort to go to. But like chips, chocolate, things that snacky type stuff, be good if you could have that away out of your vision.
And if you want some tips around what you want to stock your pantry with, we've got a video, we'll link it up the top, about our pantry and what we've got in our pantry. So that might give you some ideas as well.
Of building your pantry up over time. So you've got a keto-friendly pantry.
You don't have to go out and buy everything on the first shop. Okay, tip number 2. Learn how to read nutritional labels. It is really important to understand what is in something that you're buying. Now that's really easy if you stick to fresh produce, because it doesn't have a nutritional label.
Fruit and veg, all that type of stuff.
That's easy. But if you're looking for something
more processed,
that's a package, turn it over, have a look. Is there sugar, wheat, flour, any of those kind of things in the ingredients?
The first thing you want to do is probably look at the ingredients, and then you can maybe rule it out straight away without even looking at the nutrition panel, because you might say, oh, sugar's the first ingredient, wheat or corn or rice or something's the first ingredient. Just put it back. If you look at the ingredients and it seems like okay, then you can look at the panel and see how many carbs. Now we're lucky in Australia because, and I think it's the same in the UK, you can see how many carbs per 100 grams. So that makes it easy to compare products, because the serving size cannot sometimes not indicate it properly. So you want things that are 5 grams per 100 grams or less is like an easy guide.
It's the easiest way to look at it quickly if you don't have 5 hours to spend walking around the shops.
Also, we have a post on our blog, I'll link it below, about comparing US and the rest of the world, I think it is, nutrition labels, or at least Australia.
They're different, so you need to be aware of that.
Yeah, because some include fibre, some don't. So it's good to have a look at that post and see the comparison of nutrition labels. Okay, top tip number 3 is electrolytes. So it's really common when you're going from eating higher carb into eating keto or more low carb, that your electrolytes can get a bit out of whack, and you could get what people call like the keto flu, where you feel pretty crappy, headaches. There's all types of different symptoms. So what are electrolytes,
if you haven't heard of them before?
So I think it's like sodium, well, like salt, magnesium and potassium are the main ones. And when you're on a lower carbohydrate diet, you tend to store less fluid in your body. That's how comes, like, a lot of people lose weight really quickly at the start, because all that fluid that you normally have in your body, kind of, you lose that. So that's why you need your to kind of keep on top of your electrolytes, particularly when you're starting. So make sure that you're salting your food, and then also you can get electrolyte supplements. So these ones are from Low Carb Emporium for people in Australia, and it's just a stick that you have in like a glass of water each morning. So it's got phosphorus, calcium, potassium, chloride, sodium and magnesium, and they're sweetened with stevia. There's no calories or anything in that, but they're really great to try and keep on top of your electrolytes.
And we found when we did the carnivore experiment in August that really suffered
even more, because you're not having any carbohydrate really, like you're not even having the vegetables. So we really struggled with our electrolytes.
So we started supplementing. We weren't supplementing with this prior to that. We were taking some magnesium tablets, but we weren't actually doing an electrolyte supplement until carnivore.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4 is don't be scared of fat. Now, we've grown up with the low fat era, I guess. It's been our generation, definitely.
Low fat yogurt,
bought
margarine,
everything low fat. And so it's hard to embrace it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and chug olive oil, but just don't be scared of it, right?
So choose the full fat products, full fat cheeses, full fat yogurts, those type of things.
When you're buying something like bacon, don't go for that kind of bit that you would have before. Go for the streaky stuff with lots of fat in it, because that's how you'll easily increase your healthy fat.
With the cuts of meats before, we always went for, you know, skinless chicken breast and the really lean cuts. So choose the fattier cuts. So you want, you know, chicken wings and skin on chicken thighs, and, you know, fattier cuts of meat, which sometimes you know, the beef and stuff, it turns out to be cheaper ones, because it's like the ones you need to slow cook. So choose those options. You don't need to be adding a whole heap of fat extra to your diet, as long as you're choosing those fattier options, and you'll find that it's much more satiating. Like, you won't feel as hungry if you're eating those fattier foods.
And also cook with it. Don't be scared to put a little bit in the pan if you're frying up some eggs, or
you don't have to use the spray one.
Just put some in there, and that will also
it makes it taste, and most of the time it tastes nice as well. Fat is flavour. Fat
is definitely flavour, and we have a video around the fats that we use. So if you're interested in that, up there, and you can see we have a range of different fats that we use, and we'll talk about that. We talk about that in that video. So.
Okay, tip number 5 is to try cooking at home more. We definitely eat most of our meals at home, or that we've prepared at home and take to work or whatever, and we find that that makes it much easier to control like the carbohydrates that you're eating and the type of food in general, because when you're eating out, you just don't know a lot of the time what is in what you're eating.
And we're not saying don't eat out.
No.
But you will find it, especially at the start, a lot easier for the first couple of weeks to focus on prepping your own food at home. And I think the key is being prepared.
Now you don't have to do some arduous meal prep where you're eating the same meal every lunch and every dinner. Like I see people do, well, I mean, you can, if that suits you, go for it. But we just like to be prepared, as in we have some eggs already boiled in the fridge. We have bacon cooked up in the fridge. When we go shopping on the weekend, we know what dinners we're having during the week, and we have everything there to make those. So that's what you mean about being prepared.
Yeah, because it just eliminates the snap decision making if the decision is already made. I find that makes a difference.
So it's like, oh, what are we having? Can't be bothered tonight. Let's just get takeaway. Well, we've got chicken wings for dinner. We've already got them in the fridge. I don't want them to go to waste. So,
and that's on the schedule. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a bit less decision making, and I mean, any time that you can avoid decision making for me makes life easier, because when I have to make decisions about what I'm eating, that's when I struggle to make the right one. So yeah, being prepared and having things in your fridge that you can just quickly grab, or in your pantry, you know, nuts and things like that you know that you can just quickly grab if you're hungry.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 6. Keep it simple. I think this is a really big one when you're getting started, because you get really excited, you join a ton of Facebook
and you
groups
see people who've lost all, you know, 20 kilos in a week, and that's all that you want.
And you kind of can end up down this research kind of rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And before you know it, day 3, you're trying to fast. Just make the focus removing the carbs, removing the sugar. You can move on to things as things get easier, but
at the start, just don't have your toast and cereal. Have bacon and eggs for breakfast. Don't take your sandwich for lunch. Perhaps have a salad, or have some, you know, cheese and salami and stuff like that. And then when your dinner, just don't have the rice and pasta. Just have your meat and, you know, green veggies. So yeah, exactly. Don't try and run before you can walk. And then it's like, as you get used to that, okay, then I can, you know, start looking at intermittent fasting or adding other things in.
Or counting your macros or that kind of thing.
Yeah, and also with the food, it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to be making fat head cinnamon rolls for breakfast day 1. Like that sort of stuff is like great if you do, you know, when you've been doing it long term and you feel like a cinnamon roll and you don't want to have one, you can have a fat head one, but you don't have to be making all these elaborate meals. Like, it can be pretty basic. Eggs and avocado, you know, that can be your staple breakfast. Or that
and you can kind of go down that more experimental, replacing the foods you used to like with a keto version as it shifts to a lifestyle. But it takes time, I think, for it to shift into a lifestyle. It doesn't happen straight away. So just focus on, I think, cutting the carbs.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay, so the last tip, number 7. When you're starting, please take all your measurements and take photos of yourself in your underwear if you like. We didn't do this. We really just relied on the scales.
And we regret it.
And we really regret it, because there were periods of time where I know I was going down in clothes size, but the scale wasn't moving. And when you're only relying on the scale, that's when you get super frustrated. And
it's really demotivating.
Yeah, you just want to throw in the towel and eat that actual cinnamon roll. So take measurements, take photos, and I think you said take photos, you know, on the 1st of the month each month.
And then you can look back and you'll be like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that I was changing like that.
This is probably really specific to women, because you're not going to lose weight every week with your cycle. You know, throughout the month your weight's just going to fluctuate. Changing. That's just part of being a woman. So just be prepared that the scales might not shift every week. I certainly wouldn't want to be weighing myself every day. I don't know how people do that. I'm back down to once a month now to keep my sanity. But yeah, definitely take measurements, you know, your arms, your waist, your hips, your neck, all over. And the photos, I mean, when you, like, you might think, oh my God, I'm never going to want to show someone that photo.
You don't even have to show anyone.
No, it's only for yourself. But then in 12 months time, when you sometimes when you see those side-by-side photos on Facebook, it's amazing. And like, it can be such a motivation.
It doesn't even have to be in your undies. Just take a picture.
Tight fitting clothes obviously helps.
Choose some clothes and take the pictures in those same clothes every month.
Yes.
Because you can see the shift that's happening over time. That's another tip.
Very good.
That's a bonus.
bonus tip.
Bonus.
Oh, well, we hope you found those 7 tips useful. Some of those we knew when we were going in, some of them we didn't. But you know, I think that they're really great for getting started on a keto diet. Yeah, definitely to keep it simple. Try not to overthink it and get too elaborate. It really is simple, eating real foods and not eating, you know, carbohydrates. So
if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more awesome videos about our day-to-day lives living keto and also some recipes as well.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.